Right, so the plan is, in this corner of the field here, we're going to plant that willow. We've got the tools that we need. I've got some topsoil to fill in any gaps, some well-rotted wood chips, got my gloves, cutters, snippers. We're going to clear all this, take off that top layer of grass, mulch it really well, have a little willow in there, and then I may erect like a temporary fence to stop any animals getting in there to the willow, because I want it to grow large, potentially give some shade to the animals, and if they want to nibble on it they can as well. So first step is clearing all this. That's the majority of the nettles gone. There's still a few more there I've got to clean up, but the next sort of main issue is these blackthorns. This is predominantly a blackthorn hedge, so we haven't trimmed this hedge in a few years, so the slow berries have fallen off and they've sprouted and grown. We've got a couple nice ones here. That one's getting thick, but they'll have to go. And there's brambles all hanging down off of it. Those will need to come off. Fortunately though, I don't know when, but we must have used to collect the manure from this field in wheelbarrows and tip it in this corner. So this soil is actually really nice. It's well rotted horse manure, and the nettles growing there, a pain to take out, have sort of aerated the soil so it's nice and loose, it's not very compact. So it's actually turning out to be a really nice spot to plant it. Right, so next job is these blackthorns and brambles. So those blackthorns have been taken out. I took those out with a little hand pruning saw, and the site's looking almost there. I'm gonna trim back this bit of hedge a little bit more, because I'm gonna plant it in there, so when it goes up it's not just gonna hit this hedge. So I'm gonna cut that back a foot, maybe two, so it can go straight up, and then we're nearly there, I think. So I've cleared a lot of the blackthorn. I had to get right up in there with my little handsaw and do it. Very thankful for the hat I was wearing, because that protected me from a lot of thorns and falling bits. So there's a little rock there that I found, so I've been using that to sort of symbolise where the willow is going to go. So when I stand there and look straight up, nothing is impeding it and its growth. So I'm pretty happy with that space now. I just want to do final preparation on this bit of soil. So I've got a fork, I'm just going to sort of rummage around it, try and get as many of those nettle roots out as I can, and then rake away any debris just to make it a nice clean spot for the willow. Of course this is going to take ongoing maintenance, so every couple of weeks I'll come out here and just make sure nothing weedy's growing there and sort of keep on top of it. Right, so you can already see where I've been lifting up the ground with the fork, all these roots that I previously didn't see, all from the nettles, which no doubt would have regenerated and regrown, stolen the nutrients from the willow. So really happy I did this process. Going to get in there and pull all those out. Right, and there we go. That is the sort of final prep of the ground. Pretty happy with how it turned out. Initially, you know, a good couple of inches, it is nice and soft and aerated, but the ground really quickly gets hard and dry, despite it being quite wet here. So I'm quite surprised about that. And they see these white specks. I believe this is sort of like fungi activity, which is good for the roots. I couldn't get rid of it if I wanted to, but that's from the manure that's rotting here. So that's good for the ground. That's going to help with the roots. You can see all the debris that I've taken out, quite a lot. So I think I'm going to go have a drink and then come back and we'll start on this. Right, so I've dug my hole. It's hard to see it on the camera, but I promise there's a hole there. And here's the willow in question. It's not looking too hot right now. That's because we're just going into autumn. Its leaves are dropping off. It's going into that dormant stage. But I took a cutting from the main willow tree. It was probably about 30 centimeters. And this is what we've got now. This is probably, yeah, well over a meter. And it's in desperate need of repotting. The roots just go crazy. So I'm going to take that out, sort of loosen up those roots, put it in. I probably won't need that topsoil that I had in the wheelbarrow because there's so much loose, well-rotted manure around here, and I can really compact that in and sort of backfill it. But yeah, I can't believe how dry the ground is underneath. So I don't know if I need to water it this time of year. I'm not really sure. But yeah, next step, unpotting that. So I've prepped the roots, as you can see from the picture. I've put it in the hole, and now what I've done is put a little layer around the edge of it. Sorry, don't mean to focus on my finger. A little layer around the edge of it of this soil. And what I'm going to do then is stamp on that, backfill in it, that's called. Stamp that down so it's really nice and firm, and then repeat that process. Fill it in a little bit, stamp on it until you get to the required level. So that's all filled back up with soil. Again, hard to tell, but there's an ever so slight raise of the dirt as it goes towards the willow. That's because the ground is going to sink slowly over time from where we've lifted it up, and just simply stamping it down isn't going to compact it as it was before we dug it up. So a little rise is okay, but we should make sure there's nothing too much around the collar because it breathes from this bark, so we don't want it all piled up around there, the lamp there. And I'm going to do a similar thing with the wood chips that I've got. So wood chips are next. So here is the wood chips, the mulch around the tree. Again, keeping it away from the stem as we need it nice and airy there for the tree to breathe. The wood chips has lots of purposes to stop weeds from coming back. We don't want weeds because we don't want any competition for nutrients and water for the willow, so it has the best start it can. These nettles no doubt will come back, but they'll find it harder to get through this, and they'll be nice and easy to pull up. I put a little guard on. I planted one of these before, and I believe some rabbits nibbled it. I got these from Amazon. They're much bigger, but you can cut them to size and such. So I planted this willow mainly for the horses in this field, because the willow is a natural painkiller, aspirin that they can come and nibble on when they see fit. I don't want them to nibble on it just yet, so I'm going to make another little fence in front of it, and hopefully it gets well established and can provide a bit of shade cover, break up the hedge line a bit because it is pretty much all blackthorn here. And I haven't said anything that hasn't been said on YouTube before. They say the best way to learn is to teach, so I'm doing this for me as well, and to really instill those lessons. I did bring a bamboo stake. I haven't used it though. The willow is quite nice and straight, and I'm not going to use it if it doesn't need it. So far so good, but I'll come back and check on it, and if it does start to have a wonk, have a lean, I'll stake it up, but until it needs one, I'll leave it. Anyway guys, that is it. Thank you for watching, I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one.